I believe in the imagination. I don't believe in feeling. I believe in thinking and imagining. And out of thinking and imagining comes feeling. Feeling only comes after that. It doesn't come before that. And people go on about feeling, but you go, no, you can only feel in relationship to something.
I got to say, I watched the film earlier today, and it was just a very moving one from start to finish. What about the project really sparked your interest to want to be a part of it?
My father passed away with pancreatic cancer, and so did my father-in-law, my first father-in-law. And I've known a lot of people who've had it, and it's a deadly, I mean, it really is. It's a disease with very little, I mean, certain people have survived, but it's a very little survival rate. So I knew what the consequences were, and I knew what the stakes were, and also in relationship to his daughter, it was important for him to make some kind of amends for what he'd done. And I think that this was, in a way, it was a kind of, it was a kind of blessing and horrible blessing in disguise that he had this illness, and that if the daughter would take him on, he could go there with the thing on his foot, on his ankle, and he risked it because he was so desperate to really reconcile with his daughter. Because it was tough, because she had a lot of rightly things that he'd done wrong, because he'd been bad, he behaved badly, but he was a different man, and that's the effect of prison. People do change. Some people, there's the odd exception, but on the whole, people realize what the cost is and what the price is, and how it distances you from your family. And the relationship with his grandson, which was all new to him, because he wasn't even aware that was, when he kind of knew vaguely, but he didn't realize he was such an extraordinary young man, So that whole relationship and the developing and the boy's weakness and the boy's needing to defend himself, and him being an ex-boxer was able to. So it was just a great script, irrespective of the physical side of the film, the actual literate side of the film was pretty shit hot, actually.
Well, it certainly comes across well through your performances how great the writing was. And I mean, with a film like this, as you were kind of just breaking down the dynamics, I mean, it really does come down to the performances as much as the writing. What was it like for you building a rapport with Kate and Christian throughout filming?
Well, it was great. I mean, immediately that was what clicked. I so admire Kate. I just think she's wonderful, and she's a goer. She'll have a go. She's very British in her sensibility. She's not at all American in her sensibility. And her humor is very British. So we had a lot off screen that we could share and laugh about. And as a result, we've become great friends. Actually, I really have a huge respect for her, and because it's tough. Hollywood is tough. I sometimes wish that she was that she could go back to the UK for a while, just because, and I think she does as well. But the work comes, and it's so much of it is American based, and you have to go with the flow, as they say. But she's amazing, Kate. She really is, and she's such a hard worker, and she's such a good actress. And of course, Christopher was extraordinary as the boy. I mean, he really was. He had a real quality about him and those scenes were very delicate and the scenes with the kid, the scenes when they're lying in bed watching the TV, that kind of stuff was so well written, and his admonishment of the child without being overly pressuring, the way he did it firmly and with care. And of course, it was the sort of things that he never did when he was a father, because he didn't do that. I mean, I take it from my own life, I've got two families. I mean, my first family, and actually, ironically, my eldest son worked as my assistant on the film, which was very unusual because he's a very respected actor in his own right, but he was having a break. He wanted a break. And we were doing this film before called Mending the Line, which was a film about fly fishing. I played a Vietnam vet. And he said, and we were in Montana. He said, oh, and then I said, I'm going to be in Montana, then I'm going to Las Vegas. He said, I'd like to do that. And I said, but you work? He said, no, I this would be interesting to me. So he was a great help. And so we literally our house was right opposite the set. So I literally had a 40-second walk to set every morning.
That's nice and easy to have. I mean, I'm the same way. My desk is about 40-second walk from where I sleep.
Well, that's true. Most right. In fairness,
true.
Not necessarily actors.
This is very true. One of the scenes that I really loved in the film was early on when you were walking through the house and reminiscing about a lot of the good and bad times that you had there. And I'm curious, how much of that was you interacting with the set yourself, and how much of that was sort of pre-planned with Catherine and from the script?
I think most of it was really from me, really, I think, because I thought that was important. I mean, there was so much in that house, and it was an extraordinary house. It was a house. All the other houses around were beautiful, absolutely beautiful. They really were. They were just incredible. They're built on what they call it's called what's the place? What's that place in the desert where everybody goes to in LA?
Las Vegas.
Palm Springs.
Oh, Palm Springs.
It was a Palm Springs event, and that was what was so good about it. The Palm Springs of that we were it was a very old house. It hadn't been, and it was owned by somebody who actually was the son of a billionaire, but he'd let the place go, and it was very much a part of his own kind of disparity with the rest of the world, So it fitted perfectly, and therefore the memories were that much easier to invoke because of the things that were in the house and the dressing of the house and all of that. So it was, I think, and it's the imagination. I believe in the imagination. I don't believe in feeling. I believe in thinking and imagining. And out of thinking and imagining comes feeling. Feeling only comes after that. It doesn't come before that. And people go on about feeling, but you go, no, you can only feel in relationship to something. You see something, you feel, and you see something and you imagine. It brings home memory. And human beings so underestimate the power of memory, and that's how, my sister's just passed away. She was 92, but she's still with me. And she always will be till I die, because she is so strongly in my present and here. As all my family are. My dad, who died when I was 8, is like that, and so is my mom. So, and I think those things are what you tune into, that way of tuning into something which is the past, but something which is resonant and redolent to who you are.
Well, I love the way that you tuned into it with that scene. It really made it all the more powerful as you picked up each object and went through each room. I loved it. Before I let you go, I see I'm running out of time. I did have 2 quick questions outside of the film. I'm a big Super Troopers fan. And the guys at Broken Lizard have talked about wanting to do a trilogy capper, and I can't imagine that happening without O'Hagan. But I'm curious, if they approached you to do one more hurrah, would you sign on for it?
Oh, yeah, I would do it, of course, like anybody's. On the one condition, no night shoots. I won't do night shoots. And because they made me do night shoots last time, and I was well pissed off at them for making me do it in the last one. And it was pointless. I mean, I could have been anybody running around and going bang, bang. I won't do night shoot. No, I have this fantasy that Linda Carter and I we'll finally film in Vermont, and it will be winter, and I'll be up on a hill with Linda, and we will have our little canteen of coffee and stuff together, and they'll cut to us, and we can do it anytime because it's all white, because it's snow, and the guys can get on and do their shit.
I love it. You gotta push that on to Jay and everybody when that next movie comes around. I want to see it. And then for my very final question, Succession did just end, and the Logan business is in not Logan hands. And I'm curious, who would you have liked to have seen be the ultimate successor to you after all of these seasons of
Well, the reality is what he do. I mean, Logan doesn't deal in fantasy; he deals in reality. So every time he's given his children every opportunity. And when he says, and it's the great line, I love you, but you're not serious people. And that's the point. They are not serious people. Logan knew I was on my way when it all happened. I was on my way to do a deal with Madsen, and it was going to happen. And of course, that's exactly what happened. And Tom rightly became the surrogate Logan, and a much nicer fellow at that. But also a little sneaky at times as well. But so I knew what was going to be, and I knew that none of the kids would get it, and they had proven that they didn't deserve it. I mean, Sarah was the one. I mean, Shiv is the one that he felt strongly because it's his daughter. Talking about fathers and daughters again, he felt that she should be the one, but in a sense, she just behaves like she can't keep her fucking mouth shut. Excuse my Greek. She really can't, and that was her problem. And then she's so uncertain of herself. She doesn't know. Now, you can blame the father for that, but actually it's about them. It's not about him. He's just saying, I want one of you to take the job. I want one of you to step up. None of them can. And the only one, ironically, who I think he feels could step up was Roman, ironically, because Roman showed a lot of sensibility, particularly in dealing with the Middle Eastern money, which was fake, and he knew it and he could see it in season 2, I think. Yeah, season 2. And I thought, wow, there is a potential in Roman, as I believe there is. That's why I think Roman really, really loved his father, because I never watch it. If I can possibly, I always say it's bad enough doing it without having to watch it. So, and my wife, who was actually in, and she was shadowing as a would-be director, she was shadowing Mark Mylod, and then she got the role of my ex-mistress. She played which was, I thought, kind of, I don't know, I thought there was something where everything kind of came together in a way because of that. But and I watched it, and I just thought that Logan, I mean, that Roman is such a child. He's so lost in the dick pit and everything like that. It's amazing. So I just knew, that I always knew that it wasn't going to work. They weren't going to get it, and they didn't deserve it. They really didn't deserve it. They were not serious people.
It was well put in the show and well put just now. They were not. But just as emotional as that ending was, I think this movie is really going to do, people are going to love it when they get the chance to watch it. So thank you so much, Brian, for taking the time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.